everybody watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 2 of Season 10 NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, a.k.a. Thrash Maniac 99, the voice of NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Auto Club 400 at California Speedway. We're out close to Hollywood this week, and this is going to be an interesting race with 30 laps of good competitive action here at California Speedway. But before I take a look at the top 10 in the lineup, let's actually look at how the point standings look coming in today. After a wacky and wild Daytona 500, Charles Sanford leads the points. Second is Kyle Keefe. Third is Chase Oliver. Fourth, Austin Mongold. Fifth, Pichu London. Sixth, Nick Alton. Seventh, Carson Gum. 8th, Dylan Young. 9th, David Rivera. 10th, Zach Flickinger. So that is how the top 10 in the standings look coming in this week. And also with this week's race, new drivers making their Walmart Cup Series points race debuts, including including the other two members of Team Heel Motorsports that didn't make the Daytona 500. Matt Skoenberger and Connor Morgan both qualified in. So the only drivers that qualified their way in that raced at Daytona last week were Steven Guerrero and Sean Henley. Every other go-home driver that's in this field are making their Walmart Cup Series debuts or first starts of the season. So, pretty diverse field. But let's take a look at the top 10 in the starting lineup. But before that, starting in the last row will be Chase Oliver and Zach Rogers. In the top 10, P.J. Williams is on the pole this week. Starting next to him is Chris Washer. Row 2 is Matt McIntyre and Kyle Matthews. Row 3 is Matt Skoenberger and Carson Scott. Row 4 is DJ Curtis and Pichu London. And then row 5, David Rivera and Dylan Poteet making his first start this season. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Auto Club 400 at California.
Drivers, start your engines!
So subtle that time. Cars pulling out of pit road to get their one pace lap before the green flag comes out. So with this racetrack, it's a pretty wide open racetrack, but very slick. So that's going to be a big factor. Plus, pit strategy is always a factor, especially when we get long green flag runs. Drivers will pit with about 2-3-4 laps to go, and some drivers would take the risk and stay out to win. And that's happened many times before with drivers such as Eric Burton, Dylan Young, who have won at this track via pit strategy. So we could get another one of those kind of finishes to the race this time around. But also a big thing to keep in mind, they can go 4 wide, 5 wide is a big no-no. Otherwise, if they go 5 wide, we could get a multi-car crash or even the big one here at California. I apologize for that. Pace car pulling into pit road, which we all know what that means. It is time to boogity 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 go racing. DJ Curtis leading lap number 1 here in Cali. But they are racing really hard, but PJ Williams up on the high lane. And they kept it together. It looked like they were 5 wide back there, but they settled it out. So that's a good sign. Battle for the lead as here comes Matt Skoenberger in the 80 with his sponsor of his YouTube channel, In the Rope Show. And by the way, with Matt Skoenberger's channel, it is very entertaining. Some funny wrestling content that he does. And like I said, he, Steven Guerrero, and Connor Morgan all have crossed over from the YouTube wrestling community to join a part of this series for this season. They may stay on, maybe not. It all depends on how they feel after this season. But Matt Skoenberger is not giving up on trying to get by DJ Curtis for that top spot. Jessica Sheldon's fallen back in the field quite a good bit. Maybe this is strategy in case they decide to crash up here, and they are really close on one another. Whoa, boy. Several close calls. Oh, I think they were 6 wide right there. And there they go. Wait a minute. Oh, they are not wrecking quite just yet. I mean, they're getting damaged, but now there they go. Caution is coming out for a multi-car accident. Jesse Setti, Tim Walsh, Joshua Collard, James McLeod. Several cars got damage in that after near saves within that time frame. Pace car out on track, caution is out, and DJ Curtis is your race leader. He has led every lap so far, but that was pretty wacky. PJ Williams was sent sideways, and he almost had the car saved, but cars just kept hitting him, but he kept going straight, and they didn't start really spinning until we get to right here in turn 3, and then that's when all hell broke loose. Oh, and I think we're getting our first signs of pit strategy for today. Some cars electing to maybe stay out, some electing to come to pit road. This is going to really make things interesting as DJ Curtis, it looks like he's going to surrender the lead to come in the pit road, and that's going to hand the lead over to Matt Skoenberger. So, with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today here in California. Here's a look at what happened. They were all going 5 wide, nearly 6 wide at one point. I think right around here is when they're 6 wide, and right there, Kyle Matthews gets into the right rear quarter panel of Joshua Collard, and that sends him up into PJ Williams. They had it saved right there, but then Collard gets into Williams, and then that sends Williams' car sideways, and then more cars go sliding. And right there is where the caution comes out when James McLeod went spinning, and then they all just start running into one another. Anthony McCreary gets involved, Chris Michaels, Carson Scott. There's Dorian Facepuncher getting damage. Connor Morgan right there got damage in that mess. Jesse Setti involved. Tim Walsh ended up running into Collard, I believe that's who it was. But this was a rather wacky crash that started out of turn 2. That starts right around here. Oh, Collard actually came up into Matthews, and that's what happened, sending Williams' car to go for a little slide, and they had it saved until right there. Collard into Williams again, and then that sends him into a couple cars. Chase Oliver, Matt McIntyre, James McLeod, and McLeod goes spinning, and that's when the caution's brought out. And then they just kept running into one another, and then right there was where it got worse when McCreary and Williams, Scott, Setti, and Collard, and Michaels all get contact. Kyle Matthews right there. There's Connor Morgan, Tim Walsh. So numerous cars are going to have damage, and a couple might be out of the race as a result. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take you to the restart here in Cali. Well, after that first caution, only 2 cars were out of the race, and they are Connor Morgan and PJ Williams. A lot of positions changed up after some cars stayed out, some pitted. Matt Skoenberger is your new leader. Second is Dylan Poteet. Third is Carson Gum. Fourth, Charles Sanford. Fifth is Sean Henley. Sixth is David Rivera. Seventh, Cody Lamas. Eighth, James Qualls. Ninth, Tanner Sullivan. 10th, John Cittadino. 11th is Dylan Young. 12th, Trent Dunham. 13th is Michael Norman. 14th, Sean Galligan. 15th, Dylan Thoreau. 16th, Matt McIntyre. 17th, Angel Navarro. 18th is Austin LaPlante. 19th, Zach Rogers. 20th, JT Bryant. 21st, Preston Plord. 22nd, Johnny Gardner. 23rd is Austin Mongol. 24th, Pichu London. 25th, Steven Guerrero. Excuse me. 26th is Dorian Facepuncher. 27th, DJ Curtis. 28th, Seth Cole. 29th, James Shelley. 30th is Chris Washer. 31st, Jessica Sheldon. 32nd, Chase Oliver. 33rd is James McLeod. 34th, Carson Scott. 35th, Tim Walsh. Then Anthony McCrory, Chris Michaels, Kyle Matthews, Jesse Setti, and Joshua Collard is the remaining cars in the field. Green flag is back out with 22 laps to go. Excuse me. Already second's going to be on the line with Tweenix teammates Carson Gum, Dylan Poteet, but Gum actually now going for the race lead. But Skoenberger managed to get a good run off the high lane in order to keep the spot. Charles Sanford now entering the picture. Still side by side for the lead, but Skoenberger still has it and leads that lap, but Carson Gum is not giving up. Now it's going to be 3 wide for the lead as here comes Charles Sanford with a run to the inside, the Daytona 500 winner. Sanford trying to win 2 in a row, and I don't think it's been done before where someone has won the first 2 races in a row at the beginning of the season here in the Walmart Cup Series. But there's always an opportunity for that. Sanford with a run on the inside of Carson, but Carson leads that lap, but the 03 is still there. Matt Skoenberger trying to use the bottom to make a move on those 2, and now Sanford is going to get the lead. And this is one of 2 home state tracks for Charles Sanford, the other one being Sonoma, which we will be at in the middle of the season. And now Sanford up at the front. Matt Skoenberger trying to get to second underneath of the 32. Doesn't have a lot of help, but here comes Dylan Young, David Rivera, Sean Henley, Michael Norman and company to get on the bottom. Charles Sanford now loses the lead to Carson Gum, and Carson gets the lead back. Skoenberger into second. Now Dylan Young trying to work underneath Charles Sanford for the 3rd spot. Dylan Thoreau in a brand new paint scheme this season, the Sunny D Ford, trying to get in the top 10, and he is in the top 10 now. Let's see where he scored. 7th. Sean Henley, in his 2nd straight start this season, he's trying to get a better finish. He finished 21st last week at Daytona, and he's trying to get a better finish this week. As pretty much the top 3 still remains Gum, Sanford, Young. 4th on back is still in heavy battles. James Qualls is in the picture. Tanner Sullivan's in there. I see Cittadino trying to make ground. James Shelley, an impressive run going for him right now in his first ever start in the Walmart Cup Series for the 97 for Roush Racing. The 32 trying to get his first win this season. And keep in mind, wins are for sure crucial in this series because, say, if you have a lot of bad luck and you end up falling back a bunch of spots and have a bunch of wins, you can get one of the 2 wild card spots for the chase. But now, as I messed up right there, here comes Charles Sanford with a run back underneath the 32. He's trying to get the lead back. Dylan Young trying to make it 3 wide, but he couldn't. He's going to tuck in line behind the 03 for the time being. Now moves up high as Dylan Thoreau goes underneath of the 2. Sanford not giving up as we're halfway through the race. We got 15 to go as it's 15 laps in. And there you see all the cars that are slow and damaged off the pace. Collard, Walsh, Matthews, Washer, Seddy, Scott, McCrory, and Chris Michaels might be a bit off the pace, or he's just losing ground. He might be a tad bit off the pace. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Pit stops for the remaining drivers that did not pit. Although some of them elected to stay out, as now the leader is Charles Sanford once again. I mean, while DJ Curtis and all of them pitted on lap 6, I don't think they're going to have enough gas for the rest of the race. So it's really all going to come down to who's going to get out of the pits first out of this round. As Sanford is in. Chris Michaels actually got some damage. He might have ran into the back of somebody, and I think we're getting some of those instances of cars running into each other on pit road. Dylan Thoreau was the first to come out of the pits of this group of cars. DJ Curtis is even on pit road, so this is really going to make things interesting. Last time by, it was James McLeod, the leader, with Carson Scott in second. McLeod, no damage. He just went for a spin during that last caution, but now here he comes on the pit road. But what about Carson Scott? Is he going to come in? Yes, he is. Though I think they might be able to make it on gas the rest of the way because they pitted past halfway and a lot of them didn't pit. So I think they're going to be good to go on gas. And the first one that's coming out of the main group of cars to keep an eye on, from the looks of everything, if I can find them, there he is. Charles Sanford, I think, would be the leader once they can get around James McLeod here momentarily. Apparently they're saying Chris Washer is the leader, but I don't see him anywhere. Yeah, oh, there's the 35. He probably hasn't pitted yet. And he's damaged as well, so yeah, it looks like he's getting ready to slow down to come into pit road. Here he comes. I think he was the only one left to not pit. But let's keep an eye on him because he might end up putting his car over the wall potentially. But might have been smart for him to lead to stay out and lead a little bit so you can get a bonus point, so that way it could help him out for trying to stay in the top 30 or try to get some momentum for points to get into the top 30 potentially. But either or, he's had a rough day after getting involved in that multi-car accident back on lap 5. And I think the leader now would be James Shelley in the 97. 10 to go here at California. As a lot of cars are just separated but battling hard for position. James Shelley with the lead, but here comes his teammate Dylan Thoreau trying to get there. Excuse me. At the line. Yep, it is official. James Shelley is now your race leader. As it's getting really, really intense up here at the front. As the battle between teammates continues for the lead. Shelley with the lead, but Dylan Thoreau wants that spot. And it's 3 wide for third behind him with Sanford, Poteet, and Qualls. And then you also got Cittadino, Sullivan, Norman up here in this battle, with Carson Gum lurking in the shadows. Same with Zach Rogers, Steven Guerrero, and Dylan Young, among many others, trying to make their presence felt. Charles Sanford with a run on the inside, as Sanford is still trying hard to get his second win in a row. Like I said, he won the Daytona 500 last week. He wants to try to win at his home state track. One of 2, I should say. And I don't think he's ever won at this track in this series, so this would be something special for him if he were to win this race. James Qualls with a run on the inside of the 03. And Qualls in his first start this season trying to go for his first win of the season, or his first win of his career, I should say, in this series. Qualls still there, but Sanford utilizing that high lane at the stripe. Sanford led that lap just barely. And now Carson Gum is up here in the fray. He's been a dominant car for most of the race, and he's back in the picture. And then Zach Rogers, about 3 seconds behind that pack, is now caught by Steven Guerrero, among others. As Qualls has the lead, battle for second between Carson Gum and Charles Sanford, as these two have been battling pretty much most of this race. As they are trying to out-duel each other here in the end, as it's 5 to go here in California as we continue to look around the field. Excuse me, to make sure nothing bad is happening. Battle for the lead as here comes Carson Gum trying to make a run underneath of the 70. But they may catch a slow car, Joshua Collard, and that could really, really change the course of this race as far as who could win and who could get some momentum. And now Charles Sanford going to make it 3 wide. Now it's double wide for the lead with a run on the inside of the 32 and the 70. Dylan Poteet trying to work his way in there too. And here they come to the 43 of Collard. Which line is he going to hold up? That's the question. So far it looks like Collard is going to hold up the high lane. So Qualls and Norman and Gum are going to get held up for the time being. 3 laps to go here at California. Sanford with the lead. And then Poteet second, 3 wide for third with Sullivan, Norman, and Qualls. As they've now all gone by the 43 of Joshua Collard right now. But now Collard's going to continue to slip back, and then Chase Oliver into 68 and company are going to be catching that 43 momentarily. Sanford, like I said, he's trying to go for 2 in a row. 2 more laps for the 03 car. Poteet trying to go for his first win in 2 seasons. Michael Norman trying to get his first win of the season. Same with Tanner Sullivan among a lot of these guys. Some even trying to go for their first win ever. James Qualls, James Shelley. Sanford's got a pretty good gap between himself and the battle for second between Poteet and Norman as we are coming to take the white flag. White flag is out for Charles Sanford. But he gotta be warned because Michael Norman's gotta run as he's got that bottom groove. Carson Gum trying to make a last-second run. And here they come. It's gonna be a big feisty battle when we come off of 4. Norman was second, and then you got Carson Gum and Dylan Poteet, 2 of the Tweenix cars up here in the picture, but I don't think anybody's going to be able to make a move. Though Norman, he's trying! He is trying! He's got to run on the inside! It's going to be close, but I don't think it's going to be enough! Charles Sanford makes history! Charles Sanford wins 2 in a row. He wins the Auto Club 400 at California. First time ever in the history of Walmart Cup Series, a driver wins 2 in a row in the first 2 races of the season. What an accomplishment for Charles Sanford. Sanford is on fire right now. Won the Daytona 500, goes back-to-back wins at California. Holy cow. But congratulations to that 03 car. Let's take a look at the rest of the results. Michael Norman came very close. He had a run, but it just wasn't enough. But he comes away with a solid second-place run. Great run for Carson Scum and the... Carson Scum. Fuck edits. Yes, I cursed for once, but yeah, you know what I mean. Anyways, Carson Gum. Carson Gum gets third. There, I said it right. Dylan Poteet comes away with a solid finish in 4th. Great run in 5th for Tanner Sullivan. Highest finishing rookie in this race, James Shelley. Great finish in 6th in his first ever run in the Walmart Cup Series. James Qualls comes away with a solid 7th. Great run for Dylan Thoreau in 8th. Solid performance for John Cittadino in 9th. And David Rivera, great run in 10th. Rest of the top 20 was Chase Oliver, Zach Rogers, Dylan Young, Steven Guerrero, Sean Henley, James McLeod, Angel Navarro, Austin LaPlante, Johnny Gardner, and Preston Plord. The rest of the top 30, Cody Lamas, Trent Dunham, Matt Skoenberger, Matt McIntyre, Seth Cole, Sean Galligan, Austin Mongold, DJ Curtis, Jessica Shelton, and Dorian Facepuncher. Everybody else that finished on the lead lap were JT Bryant, Anthony McCrory, Jesse Setti, Carson Scott, Peachy London, Kyle Matthews, Tim Walsh, Chris Michaels, and Chris Washer. 1 car lap down, Joshua Collard, and then the other 2 cars were out of the race after our 1 caution, and they were Connor Morgan and PJ Williams. So that does it for our coverage today here at California. Next week, we head to Vegas for the Caesars Palace 400, and that's going to be quite intense. But until then, here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Vegas. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.